Probably one of the biggest challenges, if not the biggest challenge, in boondocking with a big rig RV is fresh water. You only have so many gallons that you can take in with you in the RV. Mine holds 93 gallons, and that's used for showers, for cooking, for cleaning, doing dishes and whatnot, and it actually goes through pretty fast. That was the first challenge that I wanted to get in front of here at Linden Camp with my RV. So my goal of the 30-day boondocking experience was to not have to break camp and drive the RV anywhere. I wanted to leave the RV on the property and be self-sufficient as much as possible. That involved hauling water in and refilling the RV tank. You know, you can fill up, milk jugs or 5-gallon buckets, and it'll take a long time, and it's very not economical to do that. Some of you may be asking why I cut the ends off of the feet that are closest to us. Well, I don't know if any of you have a Chevy pickup, but my tailgate doesn't lay flat for some reason. It came that way from the day I bought it. So in order to get my pallets to lay flat, I had to trim the bottom of those feet so that it compensated for the tailgate lifting up a little bit. If you don't do that, and I had to do this with my motorcycle lift too, then it puts a lot of undue weight on the tailgate and the straps on the side that hold the tailgate up. And ta-da, that's how we do it. Now that I have my platforms made for the barrels, one of the next things that I need to figure out is how to keep them from falling over when I make a turn or stop quick or whatever. We'll see what I come up with when I go to the hardware store. And then I'm gonna have the luxury of having the truck there, so I'll be able to, bring whatever I bought out and kind of test fit it to make sure I don't have to do that typical home remodel thing where you go back and forth to Home Depot or Lowe's or Menards like 80,000 times because you need this nut or this screw or whatever. So I'm hoping to get everything taken care of in one trip. I hope to do that later on today. I need some specialty parts that a bigger store has. I wasn't able to find them at the local Ace, so we're going to drive 55 minutes to a Lowe's that's in Savannah. And Panelopie loves going for car rides, don't you? And you sleep most of the time. So I went shopping and I bought a few things to build my barrel holder so they don't fall out of the truck. Now when I got to the cash register, I was a little shocked. I think the cashier was too. She rang everything up and she's like, "Are you aware that those metal things you got are $37 each?" I'm like, no, I'm not until you just said it. And she just kind of just raised her eyebrows or rolled her eyes or whatever in disbelief. I'm like, well, I've already gone through like an hour or two in my head of designing this, and I got all the parts, so I'm not going to change my design plan now. Here we go. Let's get right to it. I bought 4 pieces of angle iron with holes in it, and then some bolts and washers and nuts to hold it all together, kind of like an adult erector set. I don't know if you guys had one of those when you were a kid, but I had one and I just loved it, played with it all the time. And then I bought 2 12-foot 2x4s treated. So I cut the 2x4s by 12s in half at the store, so I got 4 of them. I'm going to lay those across the bed underneath the barrels to hold them up. And then I have 4 turnbuckles that I'm going to use to actually attach the whole thing to the bed of the truck. I think it's going to be pretty easy peasy. So stay tuned, and I'm going to record that in a time-lapse video, and you can watch how I build it. I just assembled all my tools I think I'm going to need to do this job. I have a 9/16 ratchet and open-end box wrench for tightening these bolts. I have a reciprocating saw to cut my iron, and a skill saw to cut my boards, and a tape measure to make sure everything's all hunky-dory. Of course, I got a pen and a square. I got a couple of these dealios to clamps to hold the iron in place so it doesn't swing around and hit me. Let's see, what else do I have here? Oh, a grinder. I brought my jackery out here. I wanted to see if my grinder would run off of this inverter. So here's my grinder. I'm going to use the grinder for after I cut off the ends. Typically they're a little rough from the saw blade, so I'll just use this to smooth those out. And before we get started, we need to think about safety. Safety first, kids. Number one, the spiral saw is very loud, so earplugs are in order. And I can't put in my right one because I'm holding the camera right now. And some safety glasses. So let's get right to it. Well, my time lapse quit in the middle, so here's the finished product. There's a couple pieces down the middle, which still will allow me to see out of my rear view mirror, which is kind of cool. I can spread them wider and hopefully get a third barrel in there. And here's the sides, bolted on, turnbuckles below. You can see them better on this side. There's one. The only improvement I would make is I would probably see if I could get a turnbuckle to attach onto this tailgate lug and then go up to here. And then I also started working on the barrels. So I drilled a hole in this one here. It went pretty easy. And I already have the setup there. This is called a bulkhead connector. Got it at Tractor Supply. It's an 1.25 inch outside diameter hole and then 3/4 hose connector, a bib. I picked this up, the brass connector at Lowe's. So I'm going to go ahead and drill a hole in the other one here just to demonstrate what I'm doing. I bought this thing over here. To connect the two together, so that will connect there. Once I get that other piece in, and then my hose outlet with a valve will be on here. And then the other benefit is it will keep the barrels equal, so you won't be driving down the road having, you know, one barrel heavier than the other. Well, here I am at Tractor Supply. I got my final, my second bulkhead adapter. I'm going to install it right here in the parking lot. Ta-da! I've finished it. I've now converted my pickup truck to a water carrying machine that's capable of carrying about 110 gallons of water in two 55-gallon drums. The next thing I got to do with this project anyway is run some bleach water through it to just make sure it's all clean and sterile and sanitary, and then find a water source, and then come back and do the first test run of actually getting the water from the barrels into the RV behind me. I'm gonna go see if I can find the Linden water treatment facility and see if I can get some of that award-winning Linden water. Life is good. Water's full, dump it on the ground.